The night it happened, the entire biker clubhouse felt different, quieter, heavier, as if the air itself was holding its breath. No one could have imagined that a single act of cruelty would ignite a storm so fierce that it would change the course of every man and woman standing under that roof. It began with a scream, sharp, terrified, and echoing through the empty parking lot behind the mechanic shop. It was the scream of the vice president's wife, a woman the club loved like family, a woman who had spent years offering kindness to those the world had given up on. And when the thugs cornered her, thinking she was just another helpless target, they didn't know they were striking the heart of a brotherhood built on loyalty, pain, and unbreakable love. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and standing up for the innocent, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe right now. It truly supports the channel and helps stories like this reach more hearts. The scene was brutal. She had been walking to her car after dropping off food for the mechanics who worked late. The three men appeared out of the shadows, their intentions wicked and fueled by arrogance. They shoved her, ripped her bag from her hands, and when she fought back, because she always fought back, they grew angry. One pushed her against the wall, another struck her, and the third stood watch with a twisted grin. They didn't expect her to scream. They didn't expect the sound of engines roaring in the distance. And they didn't expect the men who stepped out of the smoke-filled garage, her husband, the vice president of the club, a man known for his iron heart and blazing fury when someone threatened the people he loved. But by the time he reached her, the thugs had fled, leaving her bruised and terrified on the cold pavement. He held her trembling body, rage shaking through his veins as members rushed out. They weren't just shocked, they were shattered. This wasn't some random woman. This was their sister, their healer, their quiet strength. The one who patched their wounds, listened to their battles, and kept their humanity alive in a world that tried daily to take it away. The vice president carried her inside, refusing to let go, refusing to let her fear the night alone. The club medic cleaned her wounds, but the emotional damage was far deeper. She kept staring at the floor, chest rising and falling with silent panic, guilt sitting heavy on her shoulders as if she had done something wrong. The VP knelt in front of her, hands shaking, knowing that no man alive felt pain the way he did in that moment. But anger wasn't enough. Justice was needed, not revenge out of ego, but justice for a woman who had given her heart to people who didn't always believe they deserved it. The thugs weren't strangers. They belonged to a rival crew, men who treated violence as entertainment and respect as weakness. A message had to be sent, not just for her, but for every person who had ever been silenced by cruelty. The club gathered in the center of the garage, the atmosphere thick with unspoken fury. Dust floated in the air like ash from a burning fire. The president looked at his VP, giving him the floor. The vice president didn't yell. His voice was low, steady, lethal. This wasn't a call for war. It was a vow. A vow that no one laid a hand on the club's family without facing consequences they'd never forget. What followed was a tense 2 days of hunting for those responsible. The club split into groups, tracking down every lead. And while the men searched the streets, the VP stayed at home with his wife at night, holding her hand as she struggled through nightmares. She tried to convince him she was fine. But he could see the truth in her trembling fingers, her flinching breaths, the way she looked over her shoulder as if danger still lurked behind her. She was strong, stronger than any of them, but what happened had knocked the ground out from beneath her feet. When they finally found the thugs, it wasn't in some dark alley or abandoned warehouse. It was at a rundown auto shop where they had been boasting about what they did, laughing as if cruelty made them powerful. The club surrounded the place silently, engines off, hearts pounding. The VP stepped inside first, followed by the president and their closest brothers. And when the thugs saw him, saw the wild storm burning in his eyes, their cockiness cracked like glass beneath a hammer. They were dragged to the club's garage, tied to metal poles, every ounce of their fake bravado stripped away. Dust swirled in the air as the VP walked toward them. He didn't touch them at first. He didn't shout. He simply stood there, staring at the men who had hurt the one person he loved more than life. Behind him, the entire club watched, their silence louder than thunder. They didn't relish violence. They didn't thirst for blood. But some lessons needed to be carved into memory. The VP explained, in a voice trembling with controlled fury, what it meant to attack someone who had never hurt anyone in her life. Then he made them look at her, the woman sitting on a toolbox, her arm bandaged, her bruises visible, her eyes filled with hurt and strength. She didn't want the thugs killed. She didn't want them broken. All she wanted was for them to understand the pain they caused. And somehow, seeing her sitting there, bruised but unbroken, was worse punishment than anything the club could have done. But the VP still ensured they wouldn't forget. The men were pushed to their knees, forced to apologize, truly apologize, and then they were given a warning that would haunt them forever. Crossing moral lines had consequences. Hurting the innocent had a price. And disrespecting family was something no brotherhood on this earth would tolerate. When it was over, the club didn't celebrate. They didn't cheer. They simply untied the thugs, sent them crawling out of the garage, and vowed that no one would ever come near her again. And as the dust settled, something unexpected happened. She stood up, walked to her husband, and wrapped her arms around him, not because she was scared, but because she knew he had carried her pain on his shoulders from the moment it happened. That moment healed the pieces inside her faster than time ever could. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like the video, share it, and subscribe. It truly helps more than you know. Special request, before you leave, please comment below, what would you have done if this were your loved one?